Hi guys, so today we'll talk about letter of credit. So letter of credit is one of the payment method which is very widely and commonly used in the trade. Mainly it is used in international trade, but in inland terms it's also used. So why letter of credit is used? It is mainly used when buyer and seller do not trust each other because they do not know each other. So they goes with letter of credit. So ultimately, if a buyer is not able to provide the amount to the seller on the particular date, then the mediating bank will pay to the seller for the goods they have sent to the buyer. So, and suppose if the trade is between the countries in which there are some disputes, so, but the trade is important and transportation of goods is also necessary. But the seller is a bit concerned regarding the payments. Then he or she or the seller can ask for the payment terms in which letter of credit will be used. So there are around 8 to 9 steps mainly which are there in letter of credit. Letter of credit is of various types like revocable, irrevocable, continuous, etc. So today we'll talk about the basic letter of credit and how letter of credit works. So in this I have talked about import LC and export LC. Import, so we'll talk about the basic uh, thing first. So whenever a trade has to be done, firstly a contract between the buyer and seller will be finalized, in which all the terms and conditions will be discussed regarding regarding the terms, that what will be the goods, what will be the quality of the goods, specifications will be there, when the payment will be done, in what currency it will be done, what will be the clauses, who will bear the charges if there are any issues. So there is a contract is done between the buyer and seller. Now the buyer will approach to the issuing bank for the to issue the LC in the name of the seller. And in the letter of credit, all the documents will be mentioned, and how the documents are to be prepared with all the clauses, everything will be mentioned in that letter of credit. The issuing bank, which is the bank of the buyer, will issue the LC to the confirming bank, which is for the seller's bank. So suppose we'll take a scenario in which there is a buyer in India, and he or she wants goods from Egypt or UAE. So the seller is based out of UAE and buyer is based in India. So buyer suppose approaches HDFC Bank to issue the LC in the name of some XYZ who is located in Dubai, and the bank of that person is some ABC Bank, which is located in UAE. Now, HDFC Bank will prepare the LC and will send it to the seller's bank, which is located in Dubai, through Swift message. Now, through bank lines, the LC will be given to the seller. The confirming bank or the advising bank, which is the seller's bank, will take this LC and will go to the seller that this is the LC which has been issued in the name of the seller, and these are all the terms and conditions, and according to this, all the documents are to be prepared. Now the seller will prepare all the documents, all the quality certificates, bills as per the terms and conditions mentioned in the LC. Now the seller will send the goods to India through the port, and meanwhile at the same time will share the documents to the seller's bank. The seller bank will then submit all the documents to the issuing bank. Issuing bank will check all the terms and conditions according to the LC, that all the documents prepared as per the list given by the buyer, and all the terms and conditions are fulfilled or not, that all the quality checks are done and all the documentation is okay. Now there can be two scenarios. If all the documentation is correct and the issuing bank sees that the bills and everything is prepared as per the terms and conditions which were mentioned in the original LC, then the documents will be marked clear. And suppose the payment is to be done after the 90 days, then the issuing bank is bound to do the payment on the 90th day if the buyer is not able to do the payment. So if the buyer defaults to make the payments in any of the thing in any of the scenarios, then the issuing bank is bound to do the payment to the seller at the particular date which is mentioned in the LC. This is the very important reason why the trade is done on the basis of letter of credit. Now, if there are some issues with the documentation which is prepared by the seller, in that case, the issuing bank will take the buyer's confirmation, because buyer and seller has done in all the has worked on all the terms and conditions while contract agreement was done, and the step A which I have mentioned. So if there is any discrepancy in the documentation, the issuing bank will go to the buyer that this is the issue with the documentation, and can we go through the paper set or not. If the buyer is okay, then there is no issue. The bank will give the confirmation. And if the buyer disagrees, uh, then the seller has to re-prepare all the documentation again from its end. Till then, the goods will remain at the port. Now, suppose the goods from Dubai have reached India, so that then the goods will remain on the port. Once the clear documents are received by the issuing bank, the issuing bank, after giving the confirmation, will hand over all the documents to the buyer. The buyer can release the goods from the port which the seller has shipped to. Finally, on the due date, the payment will be done and the goods are received as per the uh, terms and conditions which were mentioned in the letter of credit. So this is the basic process of letter of credit, how it is done. Now there are various types of letter of credit. There can be various different scenarios in letter of credit, which we will cover in the coming videos, and other instruments which are also used like bank guarantees, etc. Export packing credit also. So we'll discuss in the further lectures coming through. Thank you.